Excellent. Welcome to Inside Crypto. My name is Matt W.L. Nerona, and we have a jam-packed hour or so here for you on Inside Crypto. Usually we do a very swift, swapit presentation. We're not going to do that today, but we are going to mention who we are, what we're about, and how that benefits people, because I think that's really important. Swapit is a brand new project leveraged in the DeFi, NFT, and blockchain space, which has an intention to build one of the most empowered communities in the DeFi space as we collaborate with lots of different fledgling companies, quality companies, and legacy companies in the space. Swapit is brought to us and led by world-class experts in the field, like our founder and CEO, Mr. Eric Alexandre, a gentleman that's been in the blockchain space since 2014, but actually has been very successful with his Jetcoin Institute and many other collaborations since 2017. Swapit will always bring you the best. Many of our members this week have enjoyed the private sale, which was our first private sale with the PGRC token, and a lot of us are very happy with that indeed. It does go on sale at 2 cents for all of the members November the 1st, as that was sold out. Today we have a very special guest indeed. I really do not want to take any more time because I want to give him the time that he deserves. But first of all, what I do want to do is I want to bring on our very special network director, an icon himself in the blockchain space, Mr. Rune Evanson, who has some updates, some details for us, and it's always good to start our call with a little bit of Rune. So Rune Evanson, if you're there, would you come to the screen and take it away? Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Matt. Cool to be here, and a big warm welcome, and nice to see you again, Mr. Eddie. I have had the pleasure of meeting Eddie on several of the blockchain conferences around Asia, here in Singapore, and I think we met up in Korea. And he is a frequent traveler, even way more than me. And I think that he is in a better position actually to travel these days than us that are stuck here in Singapore. We have the chance to travel out from Singapore, but there is still quarantine and everything when you come back. So it is not so fun to go away for a weekend and then spend 14 days in quarantine when you come back. So we have been pretty much locked down. Yes, a lot of updates. The first ever private sale that we hosted on Swapit was sold out. Great success there. The Proto reality game team, very happy. And we are now loading up and preparing for the pre-sale that starts on 1st of November, going at 2 cents, followed by a public sale in December at 5 cents. And then after that, it will follow up with listing on various dexes, etc. With that, since that token is based on Solana, it's a news for everyone there that you can now add a Solana wallet in your profile. So in preparation for the airdrop. The airdrop will still not happen for a couple of months because there is lockup for those that are joining in the early sales. But you can start to add your Solana wallets. There are multiple of them. Personally, I use the Chrome plugin for Phantom Wallet. Maybe there are others just as well, but that is a good one. Similar, it's sort of similar to MetaMask, but on Solana, easy to add tokens, etc. On the other side, we all are waiting for our own token, the SWIT token. We are targeting listing on the 15th of December. The cutoff for the achievements is on December 5th. And we have pretty much made a decision that we will move away from the originally stated 10% of the cards to have a major airdrop. Instead, we will in 2022 start with quarterly airdrops for ranks and legends. The amount of tokens is to be determined. That is so people are getting their tokens more frequently, because face it, if we're waiting for 10% all the time, that can take a very, very, very long time. But as said, the amount of tokens to be airdropped on a quarterly basis, that will depend on the buildup of the liquidity pool and the growth. So those are correlated. Other than that, I know that we will talk about Red Fox today. I see that they had a nice increase of about 20% today, hitting 5 cents for the first time in a while, which is good. I mean, the hottest things out there now is play to earn games, NFTs, etc. And I know that there are some interesting NFT projects as well that I know some of the guys here have jumped in on private sale on. So there is actually NFT sales going on as token sales, where they are doing private sale and public sales of NFTs. We might hear some about that as well. Other than that, there is a lot boiling in behind the scenes. There are more big news coming later in October, and we are already in the second half of October, so you don't have to wait too long before before there will be another big announcement call from the management team. Other than that, not so much updates from me this time. There are still a few of the NFT winners that have not claimed their prizes. The tutorials for how to use the Jet NFT viewer are posted on the Vimeo channels. They are posted on the Telegram channels. You have to use the NFT viewer so you're able to scroll and see what is behind your NFT. Because if you only look at it through, for example, OpenSea or your normal MetaMask, you will only see the picture and not what is behind, all the secret stuff, the fun stuff that is behind. So use the Jet NFT viewer. It is a fantastic tool developed by Eric's team, and it is state of the art. So with that, I'll hand back to you, Matt, and you can open up for the other guys.
Absolutely. Thank you, Runa. Really appreciate that. I'm so excited about these SWIT token airdrops. I really, really am. And I really just love the company that's flexible in its delivery of the strategy to make things work. This is so key. Well done, Runa. Well done, Eric, and well done all the corporate team. We love you. We really, really do. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on our CEO and founder, the one and only Mr. Eric Alexandre, to introduce our guest, to give us a few words, and to do whatever he wants to do, really. So without further ado,
Thanks,
Eric,
Matt.
are you there?
I'm here, Matt. Well received. So let me give you the intro of our special guest for this Inside Crypto Monday. So Eddie and I, we go way back, actually. Eddie was based in Hong Kong. I was based in Singapore, and we share some artists across Asia. So I think our common interest into music was what brought us together. But back in 2013, Eddie actually and his team organized the first Bitcoin conference in Southeast Asia or Asia. I'm not sure, Eddie can confirm, at the Fullerton Hotel. At that time, I was invited, but I had no clue what it was, and I totally missed that train. But never mind, a year later, I was looking at a solution to crowdfund talent in football and entertainment, and then I gave a call to Eddie, who told me, well, I'm sponsoring Inside Bitcoin Conference to Hong Kong, so why don't you come and check it out? I'll give you a VIP pass. So here we go. I took the plane on, and that was my first date with a blockchain, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and the honeymoon never stopped afterwards. So at that time, Eddie had the incubator for a startup in the blockchain and the Bitcoin ecosystem. It was called Seedcoin. I think he had made a successful fundraising in BTC at that time of $2 million within 48 hours or 3 days. Eddie can give us confirmation on that. He told me that day, I wish actually I asked for more money because he didn't expect it to come so fast. I remember this well. But anyway, nevertheless, he had all this company, and Eddie further down was able to list his company. Consilium was the first one of the first crypto fund to get a listing on the secondary market in the UK. So now I think we'll let Eddie speak. I mean, what was interesting, you guys, 2 weeks ago, we introduced you the next airdrop for Red Fox, right? And Rune was smart to spot that Eddie was on a black paper. And I say, why don't we give a call to Eddie to give us introduction to Red Fox and thing he does with them and all things he's doing in that space, because Eddie's been there for a long time ago. He's been traveling across the globe and he's one of the few where we can have access to, and it's a lot of knowledge into the space he can give you. So Eddie, you're on set. You can unlock your mic and we'd like to hear from you.
Thank you, Eric. Yes, yes, that's correct. Thank you for the intro. And yes, going way back in the world of crypto, 2013, as Eric was saying. At the time, I was hesitating between different options, and yes, we decided to create an incubator. It was one of the first global incubators in Bitcoin startups. There was no blockchain in 2013. It was all about Bitcoin and coins in general. And on November 15, I remember when the Bitcoin price was starting to go around $400 or $500, which was a big deal back then because it started the year much lower in the $20, $30 range. We invited people like Roger Ver and other let's say famous crypto experts and advocates to Singapore for the first Asian conference called Bitcoin Singapore. That was the first one we organized. And after that, yes, we did a good raise in Bitcoin, and we even did all our term sheets, our investments in Bitcoin at the time. So 2014, we invested in different companies in Bitcoin, and yes, and then we eventually managed to list. We were the first IPO in London for a blockchain company, and now we're listed in London on Aquis and in the US on the OTCQB. And we still and actually now we have great relations in this space, and therefore we help as well some of our portfolio companies to come to Asia and to roll out their products and their solutions in DeFi, in NFTs, in different domains. But obviously NFTs and DeFi are extremely important, and these are the sectors where we're looking now. I've had the pleasure to be introduced to Ben Fairbank, the CEO of Red Fox, nearly 2 years ago. I mean, and we have been speaking about a lot of concepts. Red Fox did our one of the first NFT campaigns for an official stamp, which actually was issued by the Gibraltar government, and therefore approved by the Queen of England, as well as all designs of stamps for UK territories. And we sold these stamps through the help of Red Fox, and they were very efficient and very professional. And we did that on atomichub.io. And now we have other projects, but we still have relations with Ben and his team at Red Fox, and they are very professional and helping and very knowledgeable in the space. And I remember talking very early on about projects with Ben around metaverse and virtual spaces, and I see with a lot of pleasure that they're doing very well in that area. And personally, now I'm very interested, and I speak a lot about. I'm going to be moderating a panel for CoinGecko on the fractional NFTs in November. So if you follow the space, I regularly speak about NFTs, fractional NFTs, and let's say the latest trends in the world of NFTs, and hopefully soon, more and more blockchain gaming and metaverses out there. So yes, so that's where I stand these days.
Okay, great, thanks, Eddie. So where you see it right now, so you've seen the evolution from Sitcon. You said that time is interesting because the people were talking about Bitcoin. I remember the conference where inside Bitcoin everywhere, and blockchain was just the underlying technology. And I think we spoke with Counterparty and Color Coin at that time, right? And NXT. Isn't at that time actually these guys were actually doing NFT. I mean, that was the first attempt on the Bitcoin blockchain. What do you think?
Yeah, there were some style of new tokens, new technologies being kind of experimented with. Yeah, so you're right. I mean, Counterparty, NXT, they were looking at different types of tokens, and in a way, colored coins had, you know, additional data to the tokens and to the coins that could be seen as NFTs. But obviously, that was, I would say, only kind of intellectually in the same area, but obviously not all the use cases that you can have today, right? So
yes,
the great thing about this space, as we both know, is that something that can start extremely small. You know, I wrote an article about DeFi in July 2020, and you know, as you know, the space can grow so quick in such a short time. That's extraordinary. That's really the powerful dynamics of crypto, and the fact that so much so many financial resources can be gathered and allocated to this space in such a short amount of time. So yes, in a way, we have seen these waves of interest and waves of innovation. Some of them called this kind of Cambrian explosion of entrepreneurs and concepts, and there was such a wave, I would say, very early on, 2013-14, then it was quieter, and then 2017 was crazy. 2018 was what we call the IPO time, and then we see today, I think, DeFi and now NFTs taking over and bringing a lot of innovation and great teams to the sector.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as we mentioned, it's true. In 2017, I think we can call it token fever, right? We saw thousands of projects popping up everywhere. Everybody wanted to do a token, and for reason XYZ. But I think you and I know, I mean, what I've seen in that space at that time, we're both busy, but the project really succeed. I mean, it's important for a member to understand are the one who had first large community, but also we had all this story about fast fundraising or really successful. But what people fail to understand, it wasn't a project put on the map over 2 weeks. I mean, the team behind this project had worked a minimum of 6 months to 9 months. I mean, a lot of work came before the fundraising was happening, and there was a strong aspect of community development. And from what I remember from all the conferences we've been around the world, people were still exchanging information, ideas. So at one point, when one of the founder or one of the entrepreneur we had met on a network of conference was launching his project, we knew about it already. We knew what he wanted to do, and there were a lot of consultation, a lot of deep conversation, whether in the tech business or go-to-market space. So for me, I looked at the way I'm at portfolio in the crypto space was because of the knowledge I acquired through the year by being in space so early in 2014. But I feel it's important for members to understand, like, sometimes people try to motivate you to buy into a new coin. It's very important to do due diligence. So it would be nice for you, Eddie, to have your point of view when you look at a project, what really ticks your boxes, what are the red flags for you, just for basic fundamental, not too deep in the tech, but mostly part of the overall view when you look at a project. Like lately, as people send you deck all the time. I'm sure you have many projects coming to you. What are you looking for, and what really people should be looking for, and what the red flag they should be aware of?
Yes, well, thankfully, yes, we still receive a lot of a lot of decks every day, and maybe a little bit too many LinkedIn messages, but that's fine. We appreciate the interest. Yes, I think the vision and the long-term kind of vision is very important. The fact that we know this sector is going to change, so we need teams that can evolve, that can adapt, that can be flexible. So basically what you want is you want smart people who have a clear idea of where they're going, but that can still remain flexible enough so that they can adapt to the pivots that are probably going to come their way. We have seen some, I mean, I've known very good entrepreneurs that unfortunately have given up too early. You know, some of them were on doing great things that actually became successful maybe by other teams or very similar concepts, but they gave up too early. You know, they gave up, some of them gave up first half of 2017, which was probably one of the worst times to stop being in crypto. But, you know, this has happened. So we need people who have a vision and the perseverance and the strength to actually want to drive it through. I'm also a director and a shareholder in a company, in a crypto company that was created in 2011. So that company today is 10 years old in the crypto space. And actually that company has done very, very well in the last year, extremely well. So the funny thing is, you know, you have companies that take their time, you know, to get there and to find the right model, the right concept, and that, you know, all the pieces of the puzzle come together. So you need that kind of a strength of character, and you need that perseverance that you can maybe feel in the entrepreneurs, which, and as you were saying, it's important to meet them, you know. Luckily, for example, I was and I still am a judge of many hackathons. For example, I was a judge in the NFT Vision Hack, which was sponsored by Circle and Rarible and IPFS, and organized by Indoors and by us. And so in this kind of hackathons, we see a lot of teams. Each track maybe has 30 teams, out of which we select 10 and so forth. And now it's easier to see, you know, what could work, and also the type of characters and profiles that could work. And I remember in the past, you know, I've been to, for example, one of the winners of a hackathon we invested early on, and today they are very important, one of the largest decentralized staking platforms in the world for Ethereum, for example. And I've met this entrepreneur by being a jury in a hackathon. It was actually a virtual hackathon back in 2016, I believe. So you see, we have really multiple ways to communicate, but at the end of the day, only certain profiles are going to stand out and are going to make us feel comfortable and optimistic and hopeful that they could do well.
Hey, Rune, any question, Rune?
Yeah.
Because when you start an exchange, you know that, Eddie. So
yeah, absolutely. And
I know.
I feel, Eddie, very well when you say that teams have had great projects. And I mean, back in 2017, I put a lot of money into many of the ICOs, and some of them, if they had launched today, I'm confident that they will just shoot up there. I mean, even myself, I tried to build something similar to a metaverse back in 2013. I spent over $2 million on it, but we couldn't even open the website in Malaysia because the internet was too slow, and all the 3D rendering and everything. In today's technology, the users can actually mine the 3D rendering. You can do it in an app, right? So again, too early. Eric with Jetcoin, now he is up with the Jet NFT viewer. And even though it has been in the planning, in the works with the concept since 2014, right? So I see it there. But more of my question is, we are seeing the market now. I'm into market. I don't want any financial advice, and of course a big disclaimer on that. But I'm following the market on a daily basis, and there are some of the old solid ones that we are expecting, sort of, if Bitcoin goes up, they also go up. But over the last couple of weeks now, we have seen sort of a decoupling. And what I mean by that, if we look at, for example, Cardano, when Bitcoin was 42,000, just a couple of weeks ago, Cardano was $2.20. Right? Then Bitcoin dropped 2,000 down to 40,000, and Cardano went to $2. Cardano is $2 today, and Bitcoin have gone up again to 62. Right? So amazing jump from Bitcoin. We saw Matic do a 30% jump, and now it's like a $1.50 coin instead of a $1 coin. We have seen Solano be down in the 120s and below 120, now going up to 160. But sort of across the board, many of those you would expect to follow, they are not catching up. You see, it can be NEM, Theta, Cardano, and all of these. Do you have any thoughts of why this decoupling is? Because these are solid projects and solid chains.
Yes, so yeah, I agree with the disclaimer idea. I'm not a specialist, but obviously I've been following this space for a long time, So there are a few takes a few comments I could make around the market. Well, maybe there are very strong, let's say, indicators that Bitcoin is actually, I mean, for example, you can look at the ratio of Bitcoin compared to Ethereum. That's usually quite a good indicator to know where alts can go. I mean, we have seen that kind of inflection point recently, last week, I think, when Ethereum started being weaker compared to Bitcoin. And that's usually a good indicator that Bitcoin is about to actually start strong without altcoins necessarily following in the soon, you know, very, very shortly after. So there are two things that could be happening. Good indicators, positive news for Bitcoin, therefore altcoins will wait their turn, and there would be a second wave where altcoins may be you know, catching up, as we say. And we have seen that happen sometimes in the market. I remember sometimes, one time Ethereum was a leader and then Bitcoin followed, but I think this time clearly Bitcoin is a leader in this sense. And it may be due to the fact that people perceive altcoins as being riskier investments. And there is always kind of a correlation, or at least there has been a correlation until now between stock markets and the crypto markets. And we could say, unfortunately, because they're not really supposed to be, but I would say in the minds, in the mindset of traders, when the stock markets has gone up a lot, like it has now for you know, 18 months, they start to be quite careful with higher risk investments, and we could say that some of them may look at altcoins that way and may feel that, okay, let's go into a safer coin, which is Bitcoin. But obviously, what we know as well is that if Bitcoin breaches certain key price levels, and obviously the all-time high, if it goes to 70,000, then there is always tremendous interest that builds up overall globally that probably could push, could create, you know, the overall wave of increase of altcoins and all the different coins apart from Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that covers it very well. And I think one of the first Bitcoin ETFs will debut tomorrow. And of course, that is increasing the interest from the institutional side, right? And as you say there, that they are not buying into like the penny stocks and the meme coins in the same sense. They are looking for something more solid, right? So that you have a big influx of capital into the Bitcoin space, but not in general to the entire crypto space, right? And so I follow you there. Out of chains, I know that now NFTs are also becoming hot on the Solana chain. It has sort of been reserved for the Ethereum chain, but the England updates didn't really push the transaction fees down where we wanted to, and still waiting for the full upgrade and see if they can become sustainable on that sense. But any other chains, any other things to watch out for there, especially in the NFT space?
Well, in the as you probably know, in the NFT space, I would say Polygon is doing well as well. We see a lot of projects on that blockchain. They seem to be investing and supporting a lot of projects as well. Polygon Studios. There was one Dolce Gabbana NFT sale apparently that went well on Polygon. There are some art marketplaces like Minty, for example, which is specifically on Polygon, and I'm an advisor there, and we have an interest. And we did something interesting as well that probably Eric would appreciate, which is we did a pre-sale for financing a movie via NFTs. So we bought some NFTs, future NFTs of a movie, and that helped the documentary on an artist in Paris to be financed and produced. And now and now the movie or the documentary, which is a long documentary, very interesting one, is actually has been selected by festivals and so forth. So that's quite interesting. We're also building a marketplace on a blockchain called RSK. We're building an NFT marketplace on that blockchain. The specific aspect of that blockchain is that it's a layer 2 on Bitcoin, so it's a side chain to Bitcoin. So in a way, it could be seen almost as the equivalent of Polygon for Ethereum, but for Bitcoin. And so therefore, you also have cheap transactions, quick transactions, but all eventually secured by the Bitcoin blockchain, which is very interesting. But I would say right now, as you were pointing out, the most successful are Ethereum, Solana, Polygon. Tezos has a few NFT projects. Some of them are, many in France, and some of them are doing well. Yes, those are the ones I know. Then I'm sure there are other blockchains doing stuff on NFTs, but the ones I know.
What I've seen lately, I've been buying a few NFT on Eternity chain. So they launched the Messi NFT, Manny Pacquiao, the boxer. And what I found interesting, this weekend, they launched the Shaq O'Neal, the basketball player NFT. And surprisingly, it's been 3-4 days now, and there's a lot of them available. So I noticed even NFT of celebrity as such basketball player, which is a global star, right? They seem to lose steam as well. So the interest was there at first, those were a novelty. But I see on Eternity chain now, they did also something with AP, the Associated Press series of NFT, look like a newspaper. So the artwork is somehow interesting, but I noticed there's the lack of interest of buyer. They look at it not anymore, because I think what I've seen in NFT space, there's really a huge vibe of speculative players in there. They come to buy just to do a quick turnover. I mean, there's some long-term holder, but I think there's some wave of buyer. They just want to flip it as fast as possible. So what's your view on that idea? Have you seen some market evolution into it?
Yes, no, definitely, you're right. I mean, you have different kind of layers there. So you have the OGs of NFTs, as we know, the CryptoPunks, the Larva Labs, Flow has been doing well, etc. So you have like older projects. If you go back, you have Curio Cards and things like that, very early projects. So early means like 3 years old. And then you have artists that started doing NFTs as well 2 years ago that are doing well because they are known and they have some credibility and legitimacy in the market. And then you have a flurry of NFT collections coming up, coming every day. And again, as you were saying, yes, some of them are very speculative aspect. I mean, if you saw, Metaverse, for example, there was a lot of interest and probably, apparently too many buyers, etc. So we have some projects with a lot of hype, and then you have some celebrities, and maybe you've heard that John Cena as well did what he called a catastrophic NFT sale. Nobody bought his NFTs. So being a celebrity, yes, is not enough. It's kind of the things we were referring earlier. It's like you need to work on the community. You need to work on the long-term interest, and that's why when the Bored Ape did the famous mutant, the mutant kind of generation 2 breeding system where your ape becomes something else because there is a kind of mutant gene that modifies the NFT. That was very interesting, very innovative, and that gave another, I would say, longevity to the project. So you have some very famous project doing a lot of the turnover, and then you have a lot of smaller projects, not too different from the ICO times era, where you had some projects who were really massively interesting and had a massive following, and some projects which struggle with. So I think the key to do well is to be innovative and to be open and to have a lot of new developments coming. So for example, we're supporting one called Blockbots, and what they're going to do is they're going to do this series of bots and power-ups, and then that's going to be a game called Block Bouts, people fighting, and then there's going to be a metaverse. So there is a whole development after that, and the same thing with NFTs with AR, for example. So, you know, when you start innovating, then you see some interest. But if it's to do just the same NFTs, there was also a famous boxing, I don't know the names, but there were famous boxers that did NFTs that didn't go very well either.
Yeah.
So you need more, you know.
That was Manny Pacquiao.
Okay.
Filipino
Yeah, but
world champion. So,
yeah, I think there's something else as well, Rune and Eddie. I mean, my take on it, I look at Manny Pacquiao as a superstar in Philippines, right? And I think maybe a lot of, I mean, all this NFT, even Messi NFT came less than a month ago. So when I look at all these superstar like Chaconi, I look at their fan base. These people have 50 million followers. I think there's also a matter of time, maybe in a year or two, when their fan will be more comfortable, understand the technology better. There is blockchain, Bitcoin, NFT, and they know how to buy it. Because today, I still feel like when I went to purchase on Eternity Chain, I need to buy some earns, so I need to go do a swap on Uniswap and so forth, or on BSC Smart Chain, so on PancakeSwap. So it's not open yet to the fan base. It hasn't got to them yet. If you look at Messi, the same. He has over 50 million followers on Twitter and Facebook, and he hasn't got to them yet, because I see them posting even on their Twitter feed or Facebook posts how we have NFT launch, but I think a lot of the fan don't understand what it is exactly, how to access it. I think there's also some of these celebrity NFT might not mature today, but over time they might surprise people of the value they can have in the future anyway.
But you can see some of the projects like the Apes and others. They're launching 10,000 NFTs and they're sold out in 1 hour. Because there, I think it is the crypto community. It is the crypto community and the blockchain community that goes in. But when you're going on a very specific, fairly new chain like Eternity, and you're trying to do the hype around a sports star, then you will end up like you said now, Eric, that they are not ready for a flash sale, right? Because first of all, they hardly know about crypto, and then you have to tell them that you need to use a DEX on PancakeSwap, and you have to buy a token that is called Earn they have never heard about, and then use a platform that they have never heard about. But if you tell the crypto and blockchain people that we are launching 10,000 NFTs on OpenSea or Mintable, they all know, they all have a MetaMask. It is one click and you're connected, you already have Ether on your account, and boom, 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 it is so much easier to go if you tap in. But I love when Eddie is saying that it is very community driven and community focused, and I think that is one of the strong points that with what we are doing here, actually, that every project, every airdrop we are doing, we are sort of announcing it 1.5 months before, and we are updating and we are educating the community on a weekly basis. So when we airdrop a token, we don't get those. When Eddie is mentioning big communities, it doesn't help just to pay for followers on Twitter, right? You see ICOs, especially back in 2017, their Telegram channel was 2 hours old and they had 30,000 people on Telegram, right? But it wasn't real. And then they do all of these bounty hunts, right? With Google Sheets, follow this account and follow that account and tag 3 of your friends and stuff like that. All of those people, once they receive it, they dump it and they go to the next project. They have no interest because they don't know anything about the project and they don't care about the project. So I think that with the sense that Eric's philosophy that we want to educate the community, we go to studio, we are making videos, we are animating them on what is DeFi versus CeFi, what is liquidity pool, what is NFTs, etc. And we are constantly updating them, and we are bringing in experts on these calls, CEOs and authorities, as Matt liked to call it, in the space. And I think that is a key for future success. So we have a very educated community now, and of course that is growing, but we are still a small community. Imagine if we can duplicate what we're doing now and grow this community to 10, 20, 50, 100 times more. Now we have 80 people on a call. Imagine if that was 800 or if it was 8,000 with the same level of education and understanding. Then it doesn't matter if you come with something on RSK or if you come with something on Solana, because they know immediately how to install a wallet and stuff. I mean, 99%, when they hear Polygon, they are lost already, right? And for those of you that don't know, Polygon is the rebranding of Matic, right? And I mentioned the Matic token because the ticker is still Matic, but the project have now renamed to Polygon, right? And so I'm very thrilled on that journey that we have taken there by committing to educating all the followers on every step of the way, like issuing video tutorials and teaching them. So then when we have special guests and they're coming in and talking about different chains, different projects, it is so easy to grab it. If Eddie now says, oh, we have a fantastic project on Solana and we will do an airdrop for you guys or whatever, it's like no time. And suddenly we have your Solana wallets in the back office and we can do an airdrop in no time. And I really love that. So education and an educated community, I think, is the key.
Yeah, but talking about this, I think what could be interesting from Eddie's point of view, I mean, see it from a project founder with JetCon, right? I really like when I saw the rise of DEX, because all of a sudden, if you look at the big exchange, you know it is, you have this long form and listing team who seem like to treat a smaller project with not enough respect, but surprisingly will list a DeFi project who has no team, not even a disclaimer on their website because it's popular, listed really fast. But what I'd like to hear from Eddie is the importance of the ratio between how much liquidity in a pool that when the project lists on the DEX and actually the actual community based on the wallet holder. I mean, what's your thought on it, Eddie? Can you give us some pointers?
You mean, yes, I mean, you're right. DEX have opened up the market even more, and thank God for DEXs, for a lot of projects that manage to be present at the token level and to be able to trade through these AMMs. Yeah, I mean, it's down to the project, but the great thing is today you have many different options, right? So for example, staking, which is not that old really, it's a new way to reward people in tokens, and that's great. That's one of the great incentive mechanisms that you can do now. Yes, liquidity is extremely important, so you want to incentivize, you want to motivate liquidity providers, so you need that in your model, obviously. That's why I'm looking at fractional NFTs, because now you can stake your NFTs, you can fractionalize them into fungible tokens like ERC20 tokens on Ethereum, for example. And again, it's the same, it's unlocking liquidity, it's democratizing access to certain NFTs which are too expensive. Like, for example, you fractionalize a CryptoPunk. A CryptoPunk can cost 200, can cost 400 ETH, which is, of course, a lot of money. So you start fractionalizing it, and then all of a sudden, people can have 1,000 of a CryptoPunk, which for certain people, it's kind of a goal, right? They love that. So I think the great thing is you have many tools projects can use to make sure that it's open and that it can be successful on the long run. I mean, I don't know the numbers. I don't know, Eric, if you want numbers. I don't know numbers.
Just I think philosophy at this point is good, just to give you an idea of it. But I like to come back on a fractional, because I saw the CryptoPunk they fractionalized on NFT, but what I found interesting, what I learned, because I come from a creative background, right? What I found interesting, in the blockchain crypto space, I remember back in the days there were some projects trying to fractionalize a Picasso, and for me, I realized quickly after 4 years in the space, even 3 years, that the crypto community couldn't care less of a Picasso, or Manet, or Lenoir, right? Or Renoir. So if we look at it today, what we can see in terms even on the NFT is really how the community is actually reacting to the innovation, the product. So product we may feel were successful in the traditional world may not be successful in the blockchain and digital world. I mean, the metaverse and play and earn gaming shows that right away. But I think the CryptoPunk are interesting because when I look at it on the creative point of view, they're just some pixel on an image, right? So what really what their story, what they represent, the value for the community, the network effect was applied to the CryptoPunk, giving them their value, and that's really, it's also a statement that we see within that community at the creative level or the way they create value for NFTs. This is also to say, this is our word, that's our language, that's what we understand, that's what we accept. But things maybe from the past representing value of back in the days, maybe not that. And I'm seeing a lot, I've been approached as well, but some successful brand, like especially on the luxury and fashion space. And I looked at it and said, I don't think eventually there'll be an intake or picked up, because even if you're in Dolce & Gabbana or Chanel NFT, maybe I think the community will know, and the luxury market might be not the market that the crypto or blockchain people want. And remember, Rune and Eddie, I don't know if you remember, there were a website before where allow you to buy a Rolex watch, sports car, luxury villa. And this guy, after 2 years, they shut down. And the main reason must have been the lack of interest for people holding crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, to buy such luxury products. What's your take on it, Eddie?
Yes, I mean, I've been, I don't know if we talked about this, but for a long time, I've been talking about what I call digital wealth. But of course, digital wealth can be confusing because any crypto millionaire or billionaire, you can say he has digital wealth. But what I mean is the digitalization of wealth, the fact that the people put a CryptoPunk on their profile, Twitter profile, because it is a status symbol. I mean, if you have a CryptoPunk, then it means you paid something $100, $200, $300,000, which is, as you're saying, Eric, is just a small image with some pixels on it. But what happens then? What happens is, as you rightly put it, you kind of belong to a club, right? You belong to this small club of owners, and you can compare that to any other wealth status symbol. You know, you can belong to a club of polo players, a club of Ferrari owners, you know, a club of yacht owners, and basically it's the same concept, because, you know, you're not going to spend the year on your yacht, and you're not going to spend the year on your horse playing polo. You're just showing that you can afford it, and you're showing that you're part of that club, you know. So I think that's also the case. But what is interesting is, are we in a process where we are tokenizing wealth so that not only we measure wealth in crypto, but we also have crypto as a status symbol? And that's the case, because the CryptoPunk is a token. I mean, the image is worthless, because I can, you know, as we know, I can click right and copy Beeple's work of art, etc. So the valuable thing is the token. So ownership of a token becomes a digital wealth asset. And that's a great thing about the whole blockchain and the whole Bitcoin, is we come back to the origin of blockchain, which is digital scarcity. Before Bitcoin, we had no digital scarcity. No one could say, this file cannot be duplicated, this file cannot be reproduced. Bitcoin, and through the use of blockchain, created digital scarcity. And digital scarcity in a natural way has evolved into digital wealth. And again, not just having thousands of Ether, but having a few tokens which actually are representing that wealth. So you are becoming digitally wealthy today. And that's quite a new concept. And I think it's going to have a lot of ramifications in the future in the way we, again, behave and interact with brands. Because as you say, luxury brands don't want to be left out. You know, they don't want you to start spending too much on that without going back to buying, you know, Chanel and Ferrari and Gucci and so forth. So there will be an interaction. And as we can see, Christie's is on it. Christie's has created the metaverse. I don't remember how they called it, but Christie's is on it, and that means they understand that the wealth is going that way, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But what I'm seeing in terms of creative direction, that not only is a statement, they have their own code. It's almost like a different culture. It's like it's a blockchain and crypto have their own culture, their own message, their own brand they respond to. So
yeah,
I think especially for the younger, I mean, I've seen projects mostly successful. I mean, in the past 3 years, especially I see a lot of projects who have a positive social media impact. I mean, we see that positive social impact. We see people with positive transformation for society or for empowering individual or freeing people to do certain things. So I see also there's a strong movement going towards creating a new economy. Totally, it's an emerging economy within the economy itself, as we experience every day. And what I see the message or the signage or the icon that community respond to maybe not what we expect from people have wealth, because as you said, it's digital wealth now, and that's a new form of wealth. So they find their own product they can associate their wealth with or representing it with the CryptoPunk as a sample, right?
Yes, and you know, if you look at the latest trends, for example, I would put them all in a kind of a similar. Like if you look at this trend, the trend of the wealth that is being created through streaming video games, right? You know, Twitch and these very wealthy influencers that were called streamers, right? This is again, I mean, as you probably know, the esports competitions for, you know, video games like Fortnite or whatever are as they have an audience equivalent to an American football game. So if you think about that, you think that, you know, American football game is such a well-established, and as we can all think, you know, extremely wealthy organization. And today the competition is, I don't know, 15, 18-year-old guys in front of their computers playing games. It's very interesting. So yes, and these are the new, and that's why, for example, I think Sam from FTX went and sponsored $200 million these esports teams, because he understands that as wealth is moving into that new dimension of digital dimension in this new generation of crypto holders, crypto traders, NFT holders, NFT traders, then, you know, these are, you have new social references, and these social references are completely different from the ones, you know, maybe we have known as in our early years.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, true. I think that's what I observe in a creative level, because I've seen there's a big emergence today, especially on the NFT space on Twitter. There's Twitter Space now, and each time I open my phone, my Twitter account, there's 5-6 group, because JetCon with NFT, I'm invited systematically, and I listen to this conversation. I think it's an interesting space because it's almost like having a radio open with many people speaking. But I can see this, the level of interaction and the way it's mostly a young target audience. I can hear that clearly. They have a total different, their code and their message is slightly different from what we understand. So when I meet like a successful fashion brand or sports brand, each time we try to have a conversation how to penetrate that community, and because they want access to that wealth, it's really interesting because most of them, first they have a gap to accept the cryptocurrency as a payment, first of all, even though we have a quick cash and a lot of solutions what they can help them to convert this cryptocurrency in cash. But I remember going at the yacht show we're sponsoring in Thailand with Olivier, you know, from L'Officiel, and I went to all the stands, and at least 5 stands of yacht constructor were telling me, oh, people wanted to buy the boat with Bitcoin, we don't know what to do with it. And it was interesting to see all these luxury yacht constructor, manufacturer or brands around it. They're all interested to go in, but the moment you tell them, oh, but why don't you accept it as a payment? We can help you to convert in real time. There's some company do that really well. So you don't have to worry about the volatility. They stepped out. In fact, even the personal experience, we're approached by, I mean, we know that COVID is creating a lot of turmoil in a traditional financial space. And when I noticed, especially last year, 2020, I started having meetings with big industrial from Indonesia, from Thailand, where so much asset, but no more cash. So they were looking on to go now to blockchain and crypto to tokenize their asset to make revenue. And we met the owner of the Oakwood Premier luxury hotel chain in Indonesia. And I was telling him, oh, maybe we can tokenize a part of the new hotel they were building in Bali, but unfinished because lack of cash. And I was saying, first, maybe your Oakwood 5-star hotel should accept crypto as an announcement. So we met the GM of Asia Pacific. And Peter was there, by the way. Peter can mention that. I see him raising his hand. Peter actually set up this meeting. And I think it's a good experience to see like Oakwood Premier is a luxury chain or 5-star hotel, meaning the GM on a private dinner on a club, no, it's a lunch at the top club in Singapore, saying, yeah, and he was boasting, are much more, I would say, innovation. Awkward Premier tend to be, and they're boasting about it, they're ahead of the curve. But at the end, they never accepted what we proposed to them. Put them in touch with Liquid, which is a regulated exchange from Japan. So they had a quick exchange, which is their solution for merchant to accept crypto to convert to fiat. And even we propose them highly regulated places, they still turned on. So Peter, maybe you can add something to it. I see your hand is raised. Go ahead.
Hey guys, me Eddie. Yeah, Eric. Yeah.
And by the way, guys, Peter just recovered from COVID, and he did pretty well so far. He just came out of his COVID. Him and his two little girl and the mother, and all you guys did well, right, Peter?
Yeah, we're all doing well. No one dies from COVID. I think it's a big. In fact, yeah. So that's a side story. Yeah, but back to on the awkward one. Yeah, if that integration happened successfully, and we put it on DeFi, and even as an NFT, you know, the sky's the limit on that. Could have been we could hold parties for all legend holders.
I know, Peter, but I think what we noticed, you know, when we talked to the GM and the entire team of Awkward Premier, and you could tell there be some, I knew already during the launch, okay, we're ahead of the innovation, we pride ourselves to be before all our competitor, and I knew that was all talking, because when we follow up online with email, you could tell the resistance showed up, and maybe not from the GM, but just at the corporate level to realize what is that proposal about. They're doing well right now, and I still feel there's still a conflict and also a misunderstanding of what crypto or Bitcoin represent, for especially for established brand, company, and huge corporation. They looked at it, they want the money, all of it, but when we tell them maybe you should show a bit of adaptation and support, right away it's a no. What they want is you to give them the cash. In fact, interestingly, you know Zach Berg, Eddie, right, from Mintable, right, Zach? Okay, anyway, he's Mintable, the NFT marketplace, and
yes,
I had a lunch with him, and he find out with his credit card he couldn't buy a Patek Philippe watch. So and of course I said they would never take Bitcoin against the watch. So at the end, Peter helped for the OTC. Remember, Peter?
We did that several times after that. He bought a few more.
What I find interesting with Zach talking about luxury, so after he did the successful fundraising for Mintable, we had a lunch together, and his girlfriend is seeing a luxury watch not for the pleasure of the watch or to wear it, because of the value of the watch. And I told him, oh, Patek Philippe, yeah, is a statement if you're Patek Philippe, like Ruud knows that pretty well. But if you buy a Patek Philippe, I think the resale market is not as hot as Rolex. And he asked me why. I said, because when you buy a Patek Philippe, you make a statement, you wear it in certain occasion, certain club, or who you're going to impress around you to say where you're at. But if I can buy a Patek Philippe, why should I buy a used one in the first place anyway? It doesn't tell much about me. So this is an interesting point of view. But what I saw from Zach, which is like it's at McDonald's every day, he likes to lunch there. So it's not really like the typical luxury guy, but made it with crypto NFTs. And I think congratulations to him on that. He's using luxury watch as a store of value in case the market goes down. So it's as good as a real estate investment for him, and not for actually, I'm sure Ruud, Eddie, Peter, and even Matt and myself, we have a good way to appreciate nice watches. It's not besides the price, right? There's something that comes with it. There's some experience.
Absolutely. Right? But I'm a little bit opposite there. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I don't want to pay for anything in crypto. Crypto for me is a store of value, and it's for trading. It was either late 17 or early 2018. We actually developed and launched a payment gateway for crypto, right? And we actually used it at some of the crypto blockchain conferences, right? At one of the lounges where we had after party, we had the bar make their entire menu. All the drinks, everything was priced in Ethereum. And the waitresses had like mobile phones with QR scanners. So the guests, they were only blockchain people. So they just had to scan their crypto wallet and pay. But why I don't want to do that, because back then, first, we did a test the weekend before. So I bought a bottle of vodka, right? And I paid 2.5 Ether, because Ether was around $100, right?
Was it a Magnum or no? It was 75 centiliter.
Yeah, right. So then 1 or 2 weeks after, when the actual event was going on, Ether was 400. And I was sitting there and thinking, damn it, I paid $2,000 for this bottle, right? So I actually prefer to have that layer in between, when I want to exit, I want to change my Bitcoin or Ethereum over to USDT or do an OTC and actually pay with something that is equivalent to USD. Because if I buy a car for 2 Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes to $300,000, I will still think that, damn it, I paid 600,000 for that car. Right? Maybe just psychologically, but if I do convert my 2 Bitcoin today to 120,000, then I know it is 120,000.
Yeah, true. But I think what you say makes sense. I mean, in fact, Peter can witness that. We told Awkward Premier actually that the chances for people to book a room with Bitcoin won't happen anyway. We say exactly the same thing, but it's in terms of marketing to the press release across Southeast Asia to say the first 5-star chain to accept crypto will create some attention. And first, the strategy was, and Peter knows that really well, they want to finish the financing of, it was actually a W hotel in Bali, in the Ubud. And the idea was to sensitize, to create interest in the crypto community. Hey, watch that 5-star hotel, now we're accepting crypto. So we come a big splash and then say, by the way, now we're launching an NFT series to finance that hotel with cashless payment. So we had a strategy lined up to it, but yet even telling that to luxury brand or whatsoever, they're still reticent to go there because they're still caught up into the older system.
But Eric, one perfect example, we have to go back to mid-March last year. And I think that Eddie knows approximately what the Bitcoin price was. I think it was on the 13th of March.
Yes.
It was down to 3,500.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yes, and we talked with a businessman here in Singapore. He was sitting on 2 buildings, 2 townhouses with bars and restaurants in, and he wanted to sell them for $50 million. And me and Eric and some others, we offered him to put it on the market and accept payment in Bitcoin, right? And he did not. He rejected completely because he did not know what crypto was or anything. Imagine, we came back 1 year later.
He had an offer. He got an offer actually.
Drinks. Yeah, drinks.
He had an offer, remember? He had an offer as well. He introduced us the guy. He had an offer in Bitcoin afterwards. So he called us back to discuss it, but you can finish the story. He actually got an offer in Bitcoin at the time.
Yeah, but when we discussed it again, then Bitcoin had gone to 40,000. So he would have gotten $500 million for those 2 houses if he had accepted on round 1. So it is crazy, right?
Yeah,
guys, I've got a bit of a fun question for Eddie. Eddie, if that's okay with you, just to lighten it up a little bit. For all of us here, most of the members, you know, it's pretty rare that we get to meet someone who started in the early days of, you know, Bitcoin and the blockchain and so forth. And so just a fun question. I hope you don't mind. I'd love to know your take on who Satoshi Nakamoto is or could be.
That's interesting. It's been a long time since this question. I mean, this was a very common question in the early days, right? 2014, 16, and then some people gave up, especially after you know the Newsweek poor Satoshi Nakamoto guy that was featured there. Yeah, I mean they are okay. There are a few answers to this. I mean, of course, there is the one common answer is the group of cypherpunks that were around the Halfine, Nick Szabo, that group of cyber, you know, specialists in you know, for example, Nick Szabo coined smart contract as a term in the late 1990s. So you know, so you see already,
right.
Halfine, as we know, was one of the first to send a Bitcoin transaction and so forth. So there is this group there. But I've also seen I've also seen a couple of Japanese white papers written in a very similar way to Satoshi Nakamoto by a few Japanese scientists whose names could make, funnily, I mean, I don't know if it's I don't take this you know as as a clear possibility, but whose names combined together, because one of them is called Tanaka and the other one is called Sato something, and so forth. So basically the names together could be, and the white papers are actually dealing with you know, digital cash and things like that. So that was quite interesting. And there is someone there from the UK who was apparently a young researcher, was involved in that research. And some people have said that he may have been involved in the white paper as well. But that young researcher, I think, is no longer around, and so forth. So there are a few questions there. But I think obviously the core team that people talk about is quite interesting. And of course, this core team are still around. I mean, not Halfini, unfortunately, but you know, Nick Szabo is speaking a lot about Bitcoin and crypto in general.
It froze.
He froze, yeah. So, but at least I think we can debunk any rumors that Satoshi Nakamoto is not
information about.
Okay, you're back, Eddie. You froze for a second.
Froze for a while there.
maybe you found Satoshi. You know it is. We got the censorship by Zoom.
We hereby debunk any rumors. Satoshi Nakamoto is not Eddie Travia.
Good.
No, of course not. No. I joined the space much later. You know, that was already what, 3-4 years later. So there are many people I know who have been in the space before I have. So it's not me, definitely not me. But it's fun. It's a fun kind of intellectual exercise to go look into the early days of crypto. Less and less people do it because obviously today you have so many new blockchains, so they don't care. They know who they are and they know who is behind them most of the time. So
thank you so much.
But I think we're good, Matt. I think we're a bit over time. I mean, thanks, Eddie, again for being present and give us time and share your knowledge. I think it was really insightful for the member. Matt, I think you can take it over. You want to add something to it, Rune?
No, I think great session. Thank you very much for your time, Eddie. Thank you, Matt, for hosting as always. Fantastic with audience, comments and questions in the chat and everything. And we have only dropped 14 people from 80 to 66 during 1 hour and 10 minutes. So it's all good, guys. Stay tuned for more updates and more interesting calls.
Okay. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Matt. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Right.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you. All the best.
Thanks,